welcome back to the Morning Brief on Channels Television. Well, if you didn't know, a report in 2023 by the UNIDO, United Nations Association for Industry, and the African Union adjudged Nigeria to be number 2 on the list of top 10 most industrialized countries in Africa. Now, that's cheery to note, but how much is Nigeria positioning to ensure that most of the equipment required for that industrialization are homegrown? Let's have that conversation as we have joining us on the program this morning, the Executive Vice Chairman and CEO, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, Mr. Khalil Halilu. Mr. Halilu joins us from our Abuja studio this morning. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Let's start by asking you to articulate exactly, in order for Nigerians to understand, the mandate of the association. And while you're doing that, perhaps you can also add how the association is positioning to provide homegrown equipment and to cut down really on Nigeria's importation volume of the equipment required for industrialization.
Well, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, is the only purposely built agency that has the mandate to intervene in all areas of science and engineering infrastructure. So anything from production to research and development, making prototypes and the likes. Upon my assumption in office, I found out that NASENI has done a lot of research. We have about 12 institutes across the country and about 100 plus prototypes of different products, from home care products to electric appliances, and the likes. And one thing I wanted to do differently, is to bring these products to market by means of commercializing them. And in order to do that, we introduced a program called Accelerated Technology Transfer and the CCC, which is creation, commercialization, and collaboration, both with private entities and government agencies in and outside the country. So we've been doing a lot of shopping around the country and outside the country for partners to do this accelerated technology transfer, where we leverage on existing infrastructure. We don't have to build everything from scratch. We've seen a lot of hard-working SMEs that have put in together a lot of work and can be supported, to build this infrastructure.
So I know that when you came on board, there was a lot of headlines about your age. A young man is taking over NASENI, 32-year-old. I think it's just a month to your birthday. So a lot of things happened that period. Because when I read your history, you're quite almost a restless, curious child growing up. Literally from ice selling to even music distribution, down to DJing and all of that. So you have a history for just providing solutions. So I would want to ask a straight and simple question. For the last 6 months or thereabouts since you took over, what would you say is the high point of your leadership at NASENI? Because infrastructure is absolutely necessary. And given how the hype that came with it, everybody's expecting a lot from a young Nigerian.
Well, I think the high point will be the fact that we're able to rebrand NASENI, which we call the new NASENI or a new NASENI. And we're able to attract investment. When we were in China for the Belt and Road Forum, we're able to attract about $2 billion in investment for various sectors in the country. And another thing is when we're in the UAE for the COP's 28 conference, we're also able to attract $150 million for production of lithium batteries. The key thing is the complete turnaround in NASENI to give it a new face and also an opening hands and restructure the organization internally to become more business friendly. We're one of the few government entities allowed to commercialize our products. And that has been attracting a lot of attention and a lot of investors. And I think that is the key thing, where we're able to show what we can provide to private sector in exchange, for leverage. We've seen that happen a lot. Currently, we're talking about close to 30 products that are commercially ready. And recently, we launched 3 out of the products, which is the solar or electric keke, and our solar home systems, considering the heat wave that is going on in the country, where you can buy a solar kit and pay over time with our payment plan. And the last but not the least, we're talking about our lithium batteries, that we've collaborated with another farm, to produce. And you keep on seeing more and more of these products. We're targeting before the end of the year, we'll have about 40 products, and we have showrooms in key states. The whole idea is, we need to build a middle class. And as you know, Mr. President's agenda is, number 1, to reduce pressure on the Naira. Number 2, to be able to, earn Forex by means of export. And of course, to be able to create jobs. And you see all the activities that we're doing, they aligned with the Renewed Hope agenda, as well as tick all the key boxes, that are of pains to us currently in the country.
Well, one of those pains, and I think it will rank top, is food, agriculture. And what will be industrialization without food, agriculture? In fact, without that, there's nothing, literally. I know there was a controversy or the debate around just how many tractors we have in the country. We have need for 70,000+ tractors or more. A minister said we had just 5,000. Some said, well, we have more. But the point is, we're not mechanizing agriculture as we ought to. We're still battling with people doing subsistence farming when we should be feeding millions with mechanized agriculture. And that talks about, all of the farming implements, or at least in this case, the tractors and the rest. So what are you doing in that line to ensure that we're moving beyond? I mean, UNIDO's ranking us 8th might be tricky because other rankings even put us way far from that one. So what are we doing to ensure that agriculture is properly mechanized, particularly from your angle?
Well, we're doing 2 key projects for now with regards to agriculture. Number 1, there's the tractor recovery program. From our statistics, there are about over 50,000 tractors that are not put to use in Nigeria because they've been dilapidated or abandoned and the likes. So we've been approaching state governors. We've done pilot in Niger State. We have an ongoing project in Kebbi, and we'll do more in other parts of the country. And this program, what we do is we put these tractors back to use. And we do it in such a way that we don't put so much burden, to the states. So it's like a swap program. We identify about 100 tractors, for example. We fix all, and we negotiate, with the state governors as to how many they are going to take, and the rest, we put them back to use to be able to earn revenue to sustain, the model. So this has been going on very well, and in fact, we're extending it to what we call the vehicle recovery program. Recently, we were with the Nigerian police. They have a lot of vehicles that they want to put back to use. So therefore, reducing, government spending. The second program we have, on the agriculture is we recently developed, solar irrigation system. Which we've test run during our Senate committee visit. And this device we believe is going to be a key driver for the Irrigate Nigeria program, which is one of the Renewed Hope agenda promises, where you enable farmers to, harvest multiple times during the year. And we believe that will, address the issue around food security. Currently, we have a demo farm of about 2,000 hectares in Jigawa, where we are, test running different ways of irrigating our lands. And the results, will be able to replicate them towards the end of the year in different parts of the country. And we are taking this irrigation thing very, very serious, and it's one of the top agendas for Mr. President, and NASENI is on the driver's seat.
Okay, interesting. This irrigation you talk about, is it from your product, solar irrigation system? Quick confirmation before I ask my question.
Yes,
it is
solar irrigation system.
Okay, brilliant. And thank you, Kadi, for that correction, by the way. The UNIDO report ranks Nigeria 8th out of the top 10 African most industrialized countries. Your products are quite interesting. Electric keke napep, solar home systems, solar irrigation equipment. But on what scale are you producing these products, manufacturing them? Because in Nigeria, for instance, we have quite a number of keke napep. That's the tricycles, but some of them, or most of them, are imported into the country from some reports from India. So on what scale are you manufacturing these equipment such that they can be deployed to use nationwide to reduce our consumption of fuel, and liberalize the economy to an extent, and the other products as well? On what scale?
So, we try to achieve a large-scale production. So what we try to do with our shopping all over the world with, partners or people that are already selling in Nigeria is to give them incentive as to why they should stop just, shipping to Nigeria and coming to establish. So one of the things that we offer them is our national brand, of course, NASENI. The president being the chairman, we have 11 ministers as board members, including the CBN governor. So that is a big selling point. Number two, everyone that wants to invest in any country, they want to know they are with the government and they are well protected. And we also try to partner with a lot of state governors to provide other incentives, for these people or companies to come into this country and invest. And we have seen that happen, in various sectors and examples. And what we try to do is, do baby steps so that we don't end up having a white elephant project. Anyone that is shipping and sort of dumping goods here, how do we encourage them to start as little as assembly? Then we go to semi-knockdown and completely knockdown products. Because we know the terrain is tough here. And you have to be careful on how you manage it in order not to scare the investors away. And if you take a look at our budget this year, about 80% of it is going into counterpart funding. This shows how serious we are when it comes to collaboration. And we want to optimize government money, so we don't invest 100% in these activities by ourselves. We always look for private equity, to partner with and also share more knowledge. The key thing that we offer, aside the brand, is the fact that we're able to help them domesticate these technologies and commercialize it locally. Because in a place like Nigeria, if you don't know the terrain very well, it's very, very difficult, to penetrate the market especially. So we see how we can look for local partners, for the international collaborators. And for the local partners that are doing well, we see how we can upscale what they are doing. But essentially, we understand our terrain is different and how can we domesticate these different technologies. And the ones that have done well, how do we upscale them?
Let's go back to December signing of that agreement with Shenzhen, the Chinese company, in collaboration with REA. The $150 million deal for the lithium ion processing and manufacturing, which is quite important to all of us as Nigerians because everybody's looking at renewable energy, and with Tesla and all of these companies producing all of this car, it creates an opportunity, I think, in places like Nasarawa and a couple of other states. Walk us through what the detail of that agreement is and how far you've gone with it, because we had to have this conversation because not many people know NASEMI. And I'm happy you're trying to rebrand so that it becomes, a street talk or has street value. That's what I meant to say. But with your project, I'm sure that's going to happen. So let's talk about this $150 million lithium deal. What are the details? How far has it gone? What does it mean?
Okay, so interestingly, NASENI approached REA, the Rural Electrification Agency, to identify what value we could add to the existing work they are doing. And everyone is aware that they procure a lot of solar street lamps, lithium batteries, and the likes for their activities. And we engaged them and said, we'd like to have a local play for what you are doing right now. And they said, well, they're happy to work with us. Being a government agency, everything becomes easier, G2G collaboration. So we signed an MOU with REA. that if we're able to deliver, products that are of good quality and meet their standards, they will procure them, no doubt about that. And simply by doing that announcement, we began to see a lot of companies, both locally and internationally, approaching NASENI, to collaborate. Some saying, that we don't even need to invest anything. They just want to work with our brand. So we're able to put standards and attracted, a couple of companies. One is Shenzhen. There are others that are also doing solar street lamps. And the whole idea is to, as much as possible, bring local components into the existing activities that we're doing. Because some of these companies already in Nigerian market, but they are just shipping and just selling. We're not even assembling here. And interestingly, we found out that Shenzhen has a market in far America, around Brazil, So we were able to identify that if you set up a factory in a place like Lagos, it will reduce their shipping time, to those countries, therefore exporting and earning forex. So this partnership, as we speak, the equipment are on the way to Nigeria, but knowing, the new NASENI's aggressive approach, we are already shipping products that are designed by NASENI, produced elsewhere, while working towards setting up the factory so that we reduce, go-to-market time.
One of the issues we've seen with big projects such as this one is, what we can call a sad trend, really, where you hear about officials seeking certain percentage of a contract sum. They call it, what is it? Yeah, but there's a name they have for it. Is it supervision fee or whatever? And they go in cash, from what we hear, to those officials, and the monies are embezzled. And naturally, if a project is meant to cost 20 billion and you've taken some millions from it, you cannot achieve that project. So that's why we have abandoned projects, substandard projects, and most times the people never get to enjoy, those projects from government, be it roads, buildings, and in this case we're talking about some of these equipment. We know that the EFCC is investigating the former REA boss, and Jeffrey referenced the fact that you signed an agreement with the REA regarding that. So naturally there'll be a spotlight on your office as well. You're a young Nigerian, you represent millions of Nigerians, and we expect you to be a beacon of light. So can you speak pointedly to that issue? Would you be that kind of official who will be demanding 5%? You have to give me 5% if you want to do this project. You have to give me a certain percentage. Is that the kind of official you are?
Well, I came from the private sector 6 months ago, and I understand the effects this kind of things have, and how it slows down businesses. And to be honest, if we are collecting 5%, we wouldn't be where we are today here. We have over 30 products that are commercially viable. And, at that speed, it's clear that, we're not collecting 5 or 2%. And, we need to put, the country first, and that is most important. And you see all the places where you have high corruption index, you're not able to move, at that, speed. One thing that I, found very, very interesting, and it gave me joy, was last week, one of my very, very old classmates, from university had a project, and I wasn't even aware. And it was just at the closing, ceremony of the flag off of that project, that I said, Oga, where have you been? And he said, oh, he moved to Canada and then now moved back to Nigeria. So we've put systems in place. Today, if you have a proposal, you can go, straight to our website, fill in a form, and the evaluation is automated. And everyone, on our team understands that. We've wrote to the president that, we need special, package for the hardworking people, in NASENI, so that they don't get distracted, by the billions that, we're constantly signing, and they just focus, on the kind of work that they are doing. But more story of, we'll tell more of this story, as the times come. Because people will be wondering how we're able to do so much within a short period of time.
So are you telling us that you're not that kind of, I want you to vouch to millions of Nigerians listening to you right now.
Yes, I'm not that kind of... I'm not a 5% person.
Does that mean it is more or it is less, or you don't take at all, and whomever takes in your office, there will be consequences?
Okay, so it's on record.
Definitely there will be consequences.
It's on record now, so your clients can reference this interview to say that the executive vice chairman of NASENI doesn't take any percentage at all. And we hope that beyond the application on your website, the process for putting forward their contracts, their applications, are just as seamless. It's a good thing that you've referenced that you're doing a lot of partnerships with the private sector. A lot of the equipment are being shipped, but the ultimate goal really should be that eventually raw materials, the manufacturer equipment are locally made to reduce capital flight and the exportation of jobs. But in those commercially viable products that you talk about, how much support are you getting from the National Assembly, which, by the way, in the 2024 budget has referenced the planned provision of solar street lights in a lot of their constituencies? And in addition to that, speak to us about how you are encouraging the support of these commercially viable products as made in Nigeria, and the purchase by government agencies at all levels of these made in Nigeria products.
Well, this gives me an opportunity to give special thanks, to the two chairmen, on NASENI committee of the National Assembly, because they have been very, very supportive. They've taken me as a younger brother, which, is a privilege that I'm still enjoying. And, from the first time we met, they told us they wanted to see products, and I told them I'm a product guy. So we beat the target that they gave us, for first quarter, to be able to showcase those products, and they're happy with it. Channels also covered, that event. And my next target is how I can turn my two chairmen into marketers, for our solar street lamps and also transformer project that we're working on, because there's each and every member of the National Assembly, buys solar street lamps, buy transformers for their constituency. And I think that should be our number one, market or number one spot that we're going to hit. And I'm sure, I'm very positive that they are going to patronize NASENI products. So
just as a round-off, I know you generate money, and government also invests in you by allocating some monies to the agency. How much has NASENI generated so far, so good, to the Federation account? Or are you really making money?
Yes, we're making money, but it's not time to close accounts yet. It's still something we're keeping, on the low before time to publish accounts, yes. So once it's time, we're going to make it public. It's not a secret. But now I don't have the exact numbers, and I don't want to be held accountable to that.
The reason I ask that question, you come from a private sector like us, so we're always ready with numbers in terms of finances. So maybe the next time we have you, we will need those numbers so that people will know whether or not you're really making progress, because that's the only metrics we can actually use to measure progress, Kayode.
Absolutely. But it's cheery to have this interview. It's obviously the first of many. We need to bring this back to the consciousness of Nigerians and ensure that all our agencies, GOEs and all of that, make profit. And it's not just budgeting money, but we get profit from it.
And he's a young man, so,
oh, yes.
So we're looking at you to make Nigeria proud. You're 33 years now, right?
Yes.
Don't worry. So Jeffrey keeps asking. Jeffrey's going to get you a birthday gift on your next birthday.
I know his birthday, right?
All right. So we hope that when you indeed turning those numbers, they will be in the realms of hundreds of billions of naira to showcase the potential of NASENI, as a contributor of Nigeria's gross domestic product. We'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Khalil Halilu, the Executive Vice Chairman, CEO, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI. Thank you for coming on the Morning Brief.
Thank you.
And we shift gears now to the softer side of things as we look at hyper-realism. Stay with us, we'll be right back.